This week, TTC spits in the face of California and common sense by mating a two-stroke to a Milwaukee impact wrench.
The Dirt Monkeys let loose in the Makita booth at WOC.
Ryobi goes full Milwaukee mode.
And we are no longer Ego's biggest fans.
So, a slow week. This is your Power Tool Week in Review.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ohio Power Tool, Pro Tools, Pro Service at the best prices at ohiopowertool.com. And Flex, it's what's next.
Welcome back, Power Tool fans. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah, and this is our 200th episode.
Yep, and to celebrate, we're not going to tell you about our new secret giveaway shelf with secret new tools you've never seen, creating a shelf so great, only belts and boxes could pull it off.
That was smooth. On to the tool news, where Todd is back at his old shenanigans, this time comparing a stack of angle grinders from Milwaukee, DeWalt, Makita, Fake Makita, Ryobi, Craftsman, Rigid, Bosch, Metabo, and WorkPro. So, a few. To test them, Todd cut through half-inch rebar, measured the brakes, vibration, noise, RPM, the usual stuff. The real surprise in this test is Todd's take on the Fake Makita. Not what I was expecting. To see what I mean, head over to Project Farm.
Tools and Stuff is back to his Kiwi mischief, this time unboxing the 40-volt XGT router from Makita. His primary goal was to compare it to the 18-volt LXT version to once again see if this XGT will be the tool that convinces us to switch. After testing, this was his best pitch.
You get 1,000 extra bloody spinny things.
And who doesn't need 1,000 extra bloody spinning things, am I right? Tools proceeded to run them through multiple materials with several passes at different speeds, and yes, there's a winner. But does it win by enough? Find out over at Tools and Stuff.
Now, we saw Matt over at 731 Woodworks review the Kreg track saw way back in January, and he even had us thinking it was time to take the plunge, because it's a plunge saw. But this week, Matt went just a wee bit up the track saw scale and reviewed the Festool TSC55 KEB track saw, and it was good. But instead of his traditional review, he decided to focus on 5 features that he loves best, including its weight, clever storage, dust collection, and anti-kickback. Now, obviously, the Festool isn't exactly in the same class as the Kreg, evident by it being over double the price, but as with all Festool tools, you spend a lot, but you get a lot. And the TSC55 is no different. But is it enough to justify that price? Matt has the answer for you at 731 Woodworks.
Speaking of track saws, Ryobi, in his never-ending quest to earn a seat at the big boys table, continued to scream for attention by releasing even more tools this week. But this time, they might have gone too far. Yep, that's a Ryobi track saw. They just walked right in and dropped this thing on the table without ever making eye contact with its older brother, Milwaukee. Why? Because Milwaukee still doesn't have one. Imagine if you've been training and playing hard all through college, determined to make the draft, only to have your middle school brother sign with the Rams. It is gonna be an awkward picnic at the TTI family reunion this summer. The new track saw appears to have all the adjustments and functional features that you'd expect in a decent saw, but they're somehow doing it for only $399 in a kit with a battery charger and 2 tracks. Many of our viewers pointed out the much appreciated riving knife on the back, and considering this is part of the HP lineup of tools, I fully expect this to have the power needed to get the job done. And they didn't even stop there. They also announced a new HP job site table saw and an HP sliding compound miter saw. So how are they doing this? Less than a week before, they announced an entirely new 80-volt OPE platform that powers a bunch of zero turns, one with 35 horsepower. Based on the comments on our Ryobi video, there are a lot of people who are suddenly welcoming Ryobi to the big boy table, whether their big brother likes it or not.
All right, I'm noticing a trend.
What's that?
We have all of these brands that are normally producing entry-level tools that are now stepping up to the plate and doing a lot of pro-level tools, like the Skil rear handle saw. Like, that's not a toy.
It's really not. It's honestly getting more and more difficult to keep these guys in separate categories. You're right about that. But let's get back to the news.
Well, we can't. I have a problem.
What?
So Saturday, we had our live show, and Justin, one of our channel members,
congratulations,
he won and got to pick the DeWalt shelf. Well, I guess
he did.
Pick the DeWalt shelf.
And we shipped him on Monday a stump ton of DeWalt.
It was a stump ton, including the fan. We didn't forget the fan.
That's right.
But the problem, we have an empty shelf now, and we really need to fix that.
Okay, so don't look at the shelf. Okay? I feel like you looked at the shelf. Stop. Okay, you can't say anything.
We can't.
You can't say anything.
How?
Because our shelf is no longer empty. It is now full of power tools, batteries, accessories
It's not available.
that have yet to be revealed. We have a shelf of tools that no one's ever seen before. And you know how we pull that off?
How did you get those?
We're belts and boxes.
You're-
Could
okay.
anyone else do that? Could anyone else put together a shelf of $2,000 worth of power tools that no one's ever seen before? No. Belts and boxes can.
Now, these are all pro tools.
Okay, I know where you're going with that. Don't worry. Our sponsor, Spider, is going to completely fill that shelf with all the pro accessories you need to take advantage of these pro tools that no one's seen before.
When do we get to tell them about the shelf?
Yeah, okay, so that's not so simple. I can't tell you when. But completely unrelated, are you guys signed up to watch the Flex Live Face Off 2022? This is part 2 of their Face Off on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Completely unrelated?
Unrelated.
They're going to announce all of their brand new Flex tools and accessories and stuff for 2022. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll put a link down in the description so you can get signed up and you don't miss it. We're going to be watching it on Monday. You should watch it too. Yeah.
Okay, back to the news. So the state of California is banning small gas motors starting in 2024, which has our friends at Torque Test Channel, who happen to abide in said state, a bit on edge. So before the ban goes into effect, they figured now is the great time to turn dead dinosaurs into Ugga-Duggas. To do that, they attached a 60cc two-stroke motor to a Milwaukee M18 high-torque impact wrench. Now I know this seems insane, but there's a reason they're doing something this ridiculously awesome. They said it was a gift to all of us for watching their content and helping them get to 100,000 subscribers. When the video went up, they had 97,000 subscribers, and only a few hours into it, they leapt past 100K. Few channels deserve the growth that TTC has enjoyed, but they're certainly one of them. Congrats to Torque Test and Channel for over a full year of hard work, dedication, and commitment to testing tools on a level playing field and sharing performance figures we can all understand. Thank you for this special episode, guys, and here's to the next 100K.
If you're like us and didn't make it to the 2022 World of Concrete this year, no need to miss out on all your favorite Makita content because Stan the Dirt Monkey has us covered. Whenever Stan takes a break from conquering landscapes and snowscapes to visit power tool shows, you know you're in for a treat. He has a knack for not only finding the good stuff, but always asking the questions that we all seem to be thinking. In the Makita booth this year, he found a bunch of interactive head-to-head demos, but instead of the typical gray painted competitors, this time they had examples on full display from Milwaukee, DeWalt, Bosch, Hilti, and more. Stan was quick to jump in and try them all himself. That includes the XGT recip saws, their circular saws, hammer drills, a concrete saw, and even a 28-pound XGT 80-volt demo hammer. There's a ton of great info in there, even if you're not a Makita fan. You can watch the full booth visit over at Stanley Dirt Monkey Genetic.
Until today, I thought I was Ego's biggest fan. Nope. Turns out this thing is. This is the all-new Ego 18-inch cordless misting box fan, and while it's too cold for us here to play with it ourselves, Andrew, the leader of the Kite Army, got one of his own and immediately put it to work. First off, this thing is big. The fan is huge. It has 4 misty nozzles, and of course, it runs off of an Ego battery. It has a built-in handle and wheels for easily moving it around, but most surprisingly, it has a built-in water pump. That means you simply carry a bucket of water with you, and it will pull from it all on its own. That gives you a completely self-contained misting setup, which is pretty freaking cool on your skin. Because it's a misting fan.
We get it, Sarah.
I was just making sure. Unfortunately, the fan still isn't available, but you can pre-order one today at Ohio Power Tool for only $279. I will make sure to put a link below. But if you're still not convinced, you can head over to Andrew's video for the full review.
All right, I want to thank Flex and Ohio Power Tool for sponsoring this episode. Guys, we couldn't do it without you.
If you like this episode, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. And if you loved it, you should subscribe and watch some old episodes because there's like, what, 200 of them now?
There are. If you can, guys, do something kind for someone else this weekend, and we'll see you next week.